Hello, welcome to my first foray into booktube with a book review. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Unfortunately, some health issues have stopped it. And the first one's going to be about the book that made me really want to talk about it. You can see part of it in the virtual background here. It's The Imaginary Corpse by Tyler Hayes. It's a book I stumbled upon in the Barnes and Nobles here in Colorado Springs, right by the office depot I was working at, also right by the restaurant I was working at the time before getting sick. So I'd been wanting to do this video probably since March. Then I ended up getting, well, I guess I'd been sick for years, but I ended up in the hospital and been recovering from that. So it took a while to get to it, but jumping into booktube, something I've wanted to do for a while. And then I really started to get some motivation when reading this book. So this will be the first video. I have a stack of books I've read since this one that I'll love to get to reviews for, and I will eventually maybe do a couple book hauls. Maybe I'll have a video chat with Book a Friend or something, and maybe I'll get a lady or two from my book club on here to talk to me about books or something. Maybe even one of the books we read for book club, which definitely will talk to some of them. First, a little bit about my book thing. I only really read trade paperback. I'll read a mass market or I'll read a hardcover, but usually prefer to read trade paperback. This is that fits in my hand, right? And I struggle with ebooks, but I have read quite a few of those as well. But this book really stumbled upon by chance. Since I worked right next to a Barnes and Noble, I'd sometimes take my breaks or before getting ready to start work in between jobs, I would wander through and look at books. And this one I stumbled across in the fantasy section, maybe the sci-fi section. I don't remember which section in the store. And the cover stuck out. Well, the name on the spine stuck out to me, The Imaginary Corpse, because I'm like intrigued about that. And so I picked that up. I think it was the only book I picked up on that trip, but I started it right away and I really could not put it down. It was kind of right up my alley. I love like a good PI detective novel, and I love creative, fun, imaginary stuff. And just reading the book, the back, it reminded me of Ian Rankin's chocolate something or another. Ooh. Toyminator was the Ian Rankin book I was thinking about. And I was like, oh, just something really imaginative. This book is the main character is Tippy the Triceratops, who was once someone's best friend. And he goes to a place called the Still Reel, which is where beloved, we'll say imaginary figures for lack of a better term, but where beloved imaginary figures live their lives once the person no longer needs them. And the idea is it can't be just any imaginary figure. It has to be something you had a big connection to in real life. So I have Teddy, my teddy bear, who's been now with me for my entire life. So 36 and a half years roughly. And so Teddy, for me, if I were to ever move on from him, would go to this Still Real is the idea. And Tippy the Triceratops and his person would solve mysteries. And of course, they're like childish mysteries, a child coping with issues that their parents would struggle with. And it was a really, really inventive book. The idea is that you can't die in the Still Reel until this one creature starts showing up, and Tippy takes it upon himself to solve this mystery. And just a really, really well-written, imaginative, fun book. Now, of course, like, it's not, if you're a hard-boiled detective person, it's not going to be up your alley, but if you like some inventive stuff, I mentioned Ian Rankin, but it also kind of gave me Motherless Brooklyn by Jonathan Latham, gave me some vibes of that as well. Not that I love comparing things, just those are two things that if you're familiar with the books or the authors, you can kind of get an idea of kind of what they're like. And it kind of really was a cross between Terminator and Motherless Brooklyn. Brooklyn, I think, would be the closest thing I could compare them to. Yeah, so just a really inventive novel about this 3-inch, I believe, Triceratops solving crimes and everything. And the whole cast of characters and the worlds that Hayes creates in this within his still real world are just really, really brilliant. And of course, the characters, they can't develop beyond wherever the person who invented them developed. So you have a lot of cartoon scribbles from toddlers that they really loved, and you've got creatures that really don't develop any like real form of communication between something. So yeah, I mean, Tibby's roommate and best friend is a hand that communicates by tapping and loves tea sets. So really inventive, awesome stuff. If you're a fan of fantasy stuff, if you're a fan of PI detective stuff, you're, I think, gonna like this. I can't recommend it enough. The Imaginary Corpse by Tyler Hayes. It is published by Angry Robot, which is a publisher I'd never heard of before this. And so I'd never heard of Angry Robot. I'd never heard of Tyler Hayes. So I was really happy to stumble upon this. And it's one of those like, don't judge a book by its cover things. Is kind of one of those phrases you hear often, but I've found through years of working at a bookstore and even more years of shopping at different bookstores that sometimes the best way to discover something new is just to find a cover that or spine that catches your eye and give it a chance. And really happy I did this, especially because I think that trip I'd looked at a Dave Eggers and Jonathan Latham, two authors I love. I had books of theirs that I haven't read yet in my hands and put them back and opted to go with this one instead. And I'm really, really glad I did, because I know I'll always go back to Latham or Eggers if I don't have something to read. So I was glad I picked up this. Really, really glad I did. Yeah. Sorry, this video is a little rough. Like I said, I'm ailing from some serious ailments, but and this is the first one, so hopefully I'll get better as I do this. I've done a lot of videos, but you always have someone to bounce off of. I do a music show over Out of the Panel Comics on here on YouTube with my brother and my good buddy Dan. And then I have No Coast Defenders, where Dan and we talk TV, movies, usually comic book based, but we've branched on to just anything that catches our eye and we enjoy watching. And then also here on my YouTube channel, I have My Friends Like Cool Shit, just a free form conversation with friends about stuff they love. So always check out more. Also, I do a weekly pop culture newsletter where I assign cool points to things that caught my eye and talk a little bit about that. And you can find that at substack.com/coolpoints. So yeah, if you liked this video, I know my brother, one of the things we go over all the time in our Out of the Panel music show is you have to say like and subscribe at the beginning of a video. But yeah, if you like this, like, subscribe, share, and please leave a comment. Let me know if you've read The Imaginary Corpse, or if you have a book recommendation based on what I said about The Imaginary Corpse, and suggestions for what I can do here as I venture more and more into BookTube. I'll probably also eventually move into Bookstagram. I won't do Book Talk because I'm not a TikTok guy, because, well, I'm an old man. So we'll see what happens on there. But thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back for the rest of my videos. Maybe check out something on my page. Like I said, or my newsletter, or even check out my good buddy Dan's Out of the Panel Comics site. And he does a lot of great things, does a lot of videos. He's done videos with me. He does a lot of videos with people within his comic book circle, and also does a lot of videos with his daughter. And his daughter does videos of her own. And his daughter Zoe takes commissioned artwork too, and she's a wonderful talent and a great young lady. So yeah, check out all my stuff. Check out Dan's stuff, and thank you. Well, like I said, like, subscribe, comment, do the things. Thank you so much.